Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to VC Football. The Champions League has returned and we now have the final 8 left in the competition. We had a lot of surprises though in the round of 16, and in today's video I want to go over my predictions video that I had for who would be making it out of the round of 16. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. I got some teams right, others I got pretty wrong though. Also, be sure to stick around until the end of the video because I also want to do a prediction video for the quarterfinals of the competition. I had so much fun doing my first prediction video that I figured, let's do it again. So let's not waste any time, guys, and get right into it. Also, just want to give a disclaimer here that these picks are highly opinion based, but I do use a couple of stats here and there to back up my picks. Now, if you have not watched my round of 16 prediction video, I would highly recommend that you go see that before continuing on with this video. But for those of you who have already seen that video, let me just give you a refresher of who I thought would make it into the quarterfinals. As you can see here, these are the 8 teams that I had predicted would make it through to the quarterfinals. And I am sure that most of you are probably saying, you got a lot of these teams wrong. But that's the great thing about football, is that nothing is set in stone. Just because a team looks stronger on paper doesn't guarantee they'll make it through to the next round. And that's what makes the Champions League so great. Alright, so starting at the top left, we had Liverpool, who I thought was going to make it into the quarterfinals, and as I'm sure most of you already know, I was dead wrong. I actually made a video dedicated to Atletico Madrid's win because of how great a game I thought it was. Atletico showed a lot of heart, and I feel like Simeone got the game down to a T tactically. I counted out Atletico Madrid mostly because Liverpool was the champion last year, and I mean, wouldn't most of you say that you would bet on the champion to continue their streak? But I was wrong with this one. I had Liverpool making it in, but now that Atletico is through to the quarterfinals, I feel like they are a very strong contender just based off of their recent form lately, so it's going to be fun to watch. My next prediction was for PSG to make it into the quarterfinals, and I do have a little bit of redemption here where I am now 1-1 with my predictions because PSG did get past Borussia Dortmund. Now, Dortmund definitely put up a fight having beat them in the first leg, but Haaland and company did not have what it takes to get past this stacked PSG with the likes of Mbappe, Navas, Neymar, Verratti. I mean, all over the pitch, they are just completely stacked. And I did mention this in my previous prediction video that this was going to be the undoing of Dortmund because PSG just has talent everywhere on the pitch, and I just felt like it was going to be too much for Dortmund to handle. So right now I'm currently 1-1. I did get PSG right, and they face Atalanta next in the quarterfinals, but we'll get to that later in the video. Moving on now, I had Valencia moving into the quarterfinals, and I was dead wrong here. Atalanta definitely showed up and proved me wrong. They beat Valencia 8-4 on aggregate. I mean, getting 8 goals in general is just amazing. And against a top tier team like Valencia, very impressive from Atalanta, to say the least. I definitely have them as the dark horse of the tournament, but don't be surprised if they put up a great fight against PSG in the quarterfinals because they have been in free scoring form. I mean, literally, these guys are just scoring goals for fun at this point. Let's keep it moving though, and the next team on here that I had making it to the quarterfinals was RB Leipzig. Again, this was a wild card, and I did have them getting past Tottenham. The reason for this was I felt like Tottenham's form had been very inconsistent this year. Meanwhile, RB Leipzig has been scoring a lot of goals. So, definitely called it on this one, and I feel like they are the wild card in the competition. If you're an RB Leipzig fan, let me know in the comments below, do you think they have what it takes to make it past the quarterfinals for the first time in their history? Not going to spend a lot of time on the next one. Bayern Munich absolutely demolished Chelsea as I had predicted. They ended up with a final aggregate score of 7-1. I mean, Bayern are definitely favorites in the competition, at least in my book, because they have been destroying every team that they face. And I mean, Chelsea does have newly appointed coach Lampard, who is inexperienced, I will give him that, but I felt like this was going to be one of the keys to Bayern's victory just because of the lack of experience on the coaching department, but not taking anything away from Bayern because they are a force to be reckoned with. Moving on now to the next team, and I had Barcelona making it past Napoli into the quarterfinals, and that is exactly what happened. And I actually just finished watching that game a couple of hours ago. Barcelona definitely knew what they had to do going into this match and took an early lead against Napoli in the first half. And I feel like this is exactly what they needed because they did look kind of shaky in the beginning, but they ended the match 4-2 on aggregate. Barcelona showed up, did what they had to do, and then held on to the score throughout the end to secure their spot in the quarterfinals. As predicted, I definitely felt like Napoli might have caused some more trouble than they did just based off of Barcelona's poor form at the end of the season, but Barcelona definitely had a point to prove, and they showed it this match. They looked pretty decent in every department, and again, Messi was just firing on all cylinders like he always does, so kudos to Barcelona to the quarterfinals. Coming down now to the final two that I had predicted, and both of these were actually wrong. I had Juventus making it past Olympique Lyonnais, and I had Real Madrid beating Manchester City. Now, Juventus did put up a good fight against Olympique Lyonnais, but they ended up with a final score of 2-2, and the French Giants did make it through on the away goals rule. As for Real Madrid, I felt like they definitely fell apart against Manchester City, specifically in defense. And I definitely love the guy. He is very humble and a great young player, one to look for the future. But Varane did not have a good match in the slightest. He made a lot of mistakes, two specifically that cost Real Madrid goals, and they ended up with a final aggregate score of 4-2. Manchester City has made it into the quarterfinals, and they will be facing Olympique Lyonnais. So much for my romanticized idea of Real Madrid facing Juventus, so that Real Madrid could face Cristiano Ronaldo on another team. Unfortunately, neither of them made it through to the next round of the competition, so that's just the great thing about the Champions League. You just never know. You just never know who is going to make it through to the next round, and that's half of the fun of it, don't you think? So when you have a look back at all of my predictions, out of the 8, I got 4 right, so 50%. I mean, I don't know, is that good or bad? You guys let me know in the comments below. Now that we have the final 8 in the competition though, I just want to remind everybody that the change to the Champions League this year is that it will go into the quarterfinals with a single elimination tie. So there won't be a home match and an away match like there normally is. Nope, we're going to try and wrap this up in the next couple of weeks here. So keep in mind, strategies will change for these teams. Also, just want to remind everybody that the quarterfinals will take place starting next week. So it's going to run from the 12th of August through the 15th. So it's going to be moving quick, but that's the whole point, right? Because of the whole situation, we want to go ahead and wrap this up and have a winner declared by the end of the month. Now, when we have a look at spot A here in the bracket, we see that Manchester City will be taking on Olympique Lyonnais. As for my prediction for the winner of this match, I feel like I immediately want to go with Manchester City. The way they played against Real Madrid was incredibly impressive. I especially want to highlight De Bruyne because he had an exceptional first and second leg. I mean, the guy can do everything. Some of the touches he was making out there, his vision, his passing, his shooting, I mean, the guy can do it all. And he is just a force to be reckoned with in that midfield. And I just feel like that's going to be way too much for Olympique Lyonnais to handle. Now, the French team are very strong, but I feel like they barely eked by Juventus. Gonna keep this one very simple. I have to pick Manchester City just based off of the depth of the squad, Pep Guardiola and his tactics. I mean, the guy is just a genius. I feel like he is going to lay out the formation and have all of his tactics just drilled into the team's heads like he normally does. So for me, I see Manchester City getting through to the semi-finals of the Champions League. Now for Group B, and that is going to be RB Leipzig taking on Atletico de Madrid. Now I know I have RB Leipzig as the wild card of the competition, but you cannot count out Atletico de Madrid, especially after how they completely dismantled Liverpool's offense. Also very important, and what I feel is going to be crucial for Atletico Madrid, is that they have an ace up their sleeve. What do I mean by this? I mean that Atletico Madrid has something that RB Leipzig lacks, and that is experience. Atletico Madrid has made it to the final of the Champions League twice in the past decade. Once in the 2013-14 season, and then again in the 15-16 season. Atletico Madrid knows what it takes to make it into the later stages of the competition. And while RB Leipzig has been having a great season and they are a great team, this is the farthest they have ever made it in their club's history. Now, it would be great and a fairy tale ending if they were to make it, let's say, into the semifinals and let's say even the finals. But I feel like Atletico de Madrid is not going to make it easy for them. In Atletico de Madrid, RB Leipzig is going to be facing the second best defense in Europe's top 5 leagues. All season, Atletico Madrid has only conceded 19 goals. Only Real Madrid was better at 17. The only struggle that Atletico de Madrid has had this season is, yes, they can keep the other team from scoring on them, but they seem to have a hard time finding the opposition's net. Now, if they play the way they did against Liverpool, though, I feel like they are going to be one of the strongest teams left in the competition. Especially if Felix can stay healthy and he can connect with his midfielders, because once they do, this may be the third time in this decade that Atletico Madrid makes it to the final of the Champions League. And keep in mind, the other 2 times they made it into the final, they lost to their bitter rivals, Real Madrid. But Real Madrid are no longer in the competition, so this might be the year for them. Los Rojiblancos have a great chance of making it into later stages of the competition, and with El Cholo Simeone leading the charge, I have Atletico de Madrid getting past RB Leipzig to make it into the semi-finals of the competition. Now for Group C, and it is a clash of the Titans. We have Barcelona, who are going to face off against Bayern Munich. And as for my prediction in this one, it is very tough, I would say. And I'm just going to lay out the facts here, and that is that Barcelona did not have a good 2019-20 season, but the way they played against Napoli was not the way they were playing in La Liga. They looked refreshed, it looked like they came back from that break with something to prove, and they actually played like they had a purpose again. And any team with Messi is just going to be incredibly dangerous because the guy can just make things happen out of nowhere. But in this Bayern Munich team, I see one of the favorites in the competition. They completely thumped Chelsea 7-1. I mean, it was basically a walk in the park for one of the strongest teams in the Premier League. I mean, they made it look easy. And if memory serves, the last time they played Barcelona was back in, I believe, the 2013-14 season. Don't quote me on that, but I still have the memory very fresh in my brain of how Barcelona got completely bodied 7-0. I mean, I can already see all of the Barcelona fans having flashbacks to that. And this Bayern Munich team looks very strong. They have the top goal scorer in the Champions League in Lewandowski. The guy has 13 goals in the competition so far. I mean, there is just no stopping this guy. Yes, we do have Messi with Barcelona, who is trying to get the team together. They did not have a good season, and he called out the team saying they wouldn't be able to get past Napoli if they played the way they were playing. To be fair, Barcelona reacted. The team looked completely cohesive. Yes, they had a couple of errors here and there, but for the most part, I felt like Barcelona played very well against Napoli in that second leg. It's going to be tough. I feel like whoever is the winner in Group C, I feel like is my favorite to win the competition. And I just have to go with my gut here and say that I am picking Bayern to defeat Barcelona and make it into the semifinals of the Champions League. And now for the final bracket here, D, where we have Atalanta, who is going to be facing off against PSG. Now, I had kind of foreshadowed this match earlier in the video, but I definitely feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Atalanta. I know I definitely did in the round of 16. I completely wrote them off and said that Valencia was going to defeat them, no problem. Well, they definitely showed me, because they completely got past Valencia, made it look easy. It was completely free scoring in both legs. They ended up with 12 goals between the two of them, 8-4 final aggregate score. Stuff was crazy. Atalanta is having a great season, and while PSG is very strong, they have underperformed in the Champions League for a couple of seasons now. And while the team is stacked, they do have Neymar, they do have Verratti, they have Keylor Navas in the back, Thiago in the back line, they will be missing Mbappe, who was injured just a few weeks ago. He may actually already be ruled out for the match. And without Mbappe, the team loses a lot of potential in that offense. For my prediction, it's very tough. I feel like it's going to be either a wild game with a lot of goals on both sides, or one team is going to completely take the initiative and dominate the whole match. For me, I feel like PSG's squad depth is still too much for this Atalanta team. Even though Mbappe may be injured and may miss the match, they still have Neymar, who is a world-class forward. I mean, the fact that they have two of these guys on the same team. So, for that reason, I am going to have to go with PSG making it into the semifinals of the competition. Thank you so much for everybody who has made it until the end of the video. I want to know what you guys think. Do you agree with my picks? Who do you think is going to make it into the semifinals of the Champions League? Let me know what you think. Leave me a comment below. Leave a like if you made it until this point in the video. And as always, guys, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.